All right, guys, how's it going? So this time we're back with a little bit more Deck Doctor, and I'm joined by my good friend Kuvira. Kuvira, say hi.
Hello.
And we're gonna be breaking down a very interesting deck this week. So for those of you guys who don't know, Deck Doctor is my series where we basically take user submitted decks from you guys, from like Twitter polls, and basically we try to refine them. I had on one of the Glimpse Beyond guys press a pick, and this time I've got Kuvira also from Glimpse Beyond, and basically we're just going to be playing the deck 3 games and refining it each step of the way, talking about the deck building process. Kuvira is actually he preps with decks a lot with me because he is mostly who I talk to when trying to deck build for stuff like tournament lineups. Kuvira, I consider you to be one of the best deck builders in the game right now, actually.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I think
I tasked Kuvira to pick from the user submitted decks. So Kuvira, who is this deck from? Because I had Kuvira choose a deck. Do you have
that's a very good question. Yes, it is from it is from Mitrox.
So this looks at first to be a pretty normal Misfortune Demacia deck, but on closer examination, it is very, very, very far from normal. This is a full-on Dawnspeakers deck. Dawnspeakers is a bit of a pet card of mine. Back in like the very, very long time ago, I made the Dawn Spiders deck, which I was really thinking would, end up having a bit more staying power, but it really just was like one of the first few decks in the game, and eventually became dominated by like, fearsome meta stuff instead. This is a very, very interesting build. So overall, like initial impressions, we've got Dawn Speakers with Monkey Idol. It's a pretty cute combo. And we've got even like Chain Vest as well. Sometimes you can use this on the Monkey Idol to make it survive longer. But the real cool thing about this deck is Shakedown. Shakedown gives you ways of like, controlling the board as well as potentially triggering some kills for kind of like accelerating your combo. Kavira, what are your first impressions of this deck?
I think it's an old concept, but the idea is very solid. The fact that we have Shakedown now, Shakedown is gonna be huge just because we can just trigger down speakers more efficiently. It's also a removal card technically because you can send your Grizzled Ranger or the thing that pops from the Grizzled Ranger, the 3/4.
Yeah.
And remove something, or it works very well with Lucian as well because you can sometimes burst level up Lucian and they don't usually expect that.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's a cute gimmick. So in terms of what we're going to do with this process, we're going to play the deck once, as is, before changing everything, right? And then we're going to change things, once per game. But just looking at the deck, there's a couple of things you and I are probably both thinking that we want to change. I'm personally, I can say where I'm at right now, I, wouldn't run the Siren. I don't think it's a great card in general. Misfortune decks are great, but the Siren's just a little bit too slow. Kind of actually way too slow, if I'm being honest.
Agreed.
I also would definitely find a way to put in a third Dawn Speakers, and I think I would be inclined to get out of Lucian in favor of Quinn. Now, it's not going to turn into a super standard MF Quinn deck, but I do think Quinn would make more sense here. If we're staying in Lucian, we need Senna.
Oh yeah, and I'm not sure we can fit in Senna just because we have a lot of 3-drops here.
Yeah, we could replace it for like the Redeemer or something like that if we were to stay in Lucian.
I also personally do not like the Cithras Courier.
Ooh, yeah, Citrus Courier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it fits what the deck wants to do.
Yeah, Demacia just kind of has too many power 6 drops anyway. So now that we've gotten that all out of the way, we can go ahead and jump into some games. This is Deck Doctor 4, and let's see how it goes. All right, so we're gonna start with some normal games. I'm going to be playing 3 games with this deck. And the third and final game, I'm going to be switching to like a Masters ranked game just to, against Kuvira's advisement. He says it would not be a good idea to play in Masters ranked with this deck, but I think it'll be fine. So we've got Maokai Nautilus, a good old deep deck. What kind of direction do you want to take here on the mulligan, Kuvira?
I want to mulligan more aggressively, but then we lose the essence of the deck, so maybe we keep everything.
Yeah. The question is, like, can you actually keep both Dawn Speakers and Monkey Idol?
That's a very good question, but if we can't do that, that means we'll have to cut down on Monkey Idols.
Potentially.
I would maybe keep everything actually, because Chain Vest, we
Really?
bank the first. Yeah, we bank the first point of mana. We play Lucian into Idol, into Chain Vest, into Dawnspeakers.
I think that's a fun play. I'd be more inclined to take like a bit of an aggressive kick here. I think definitely like one of the things we're gonna have to work out is the curve of this deck. Absolutely. Yeah. We're probably gonna want more 1-drops. Especially in like these two colors, we can definitely fit in more 1-drops than this.
Yeah, we do like 2-drops as well. We need hired gun.
Hired gun would be very good with the strategy for sure.
Yes.
The tricky thing with Dawnspeakers is you need units that are going to be able to stay alive, as well as units that have the ability to die. Hired gun is like a nice survivable unit that, because it gives something vulnerable, also just gives you ways of like sometimes killing off your own units for value.
Pretty slow
standard
start.
opening so far, yeah. Nothing really much going on. The trick with Dawnspeakers in this deck is it's basically a way to sort of enable a Scouts deck to go like more into the late game, really, right? Want to play the
yes.
out here?
Yes.
The question is, do we just chain vest it right away?
Yes. Against Deep, we do that for sure.
This is such a meme strategy. So now that the Monkey Idol is chain vested, it's only going to deal 1 damage to itself per turn. And once we have Dawnspeakers on the board, it's going to be getting that 1 health back. Which means our Monkey Idol is effectively immortal until he kills it. With like a Jaw Hunters here.
Or Devour.
Yes. But it's not going to kill itself. We have an engine where Monkey Idol will not be taking damage over time, and it's just going to be the Dawnspeakers here.
Correct.
E.
It's not that.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this? Do you just want to let the combat happen and then Dawnspeakers probably? I think that kind of has to be best.
We don't have any other alternative technically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Going harvesting.
Ooh.
Oh. That's great.
Oh, this is perfect. Wait, why would he do that? This is amazing for us. Okay, we win. Sweet. All right, and this is yeah, we've got our engine online. We have the effective infinite combo. I will say, yeah, I do think this deck is definitely a little top heavy. We've got just like too many Cythrias and Citrus Couriers. Yeah, I guess we're locked into a Ranger here. This is going to be a pretty easy deck to pilot, I would say, for the most part. It's pretty nuanced when it comes to like building and refining perfectly as well.
Correct.
I guess we can just open with Scout Attack into Powder Monkey. Looks perfectly fine. Okay, looks good. We've got our engine, and yeah, this is like effectively the best case scenario with this deck. Do you want to go with the 3/4?
Yeah, well, can I see the card? 23? Where are they at right now?
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, you attack with the bear as well.
What if he has double jettison?
Well, I mean, we'll have to single combat with the 3/3 anyway. Ooh, what?
Oh my god, Kavir, I told you. What if he has double jettison?
But wait. Wait.
All right. Yeah, that's awkward. Well, see, that's pretty bad. I don't know if it's worth taking that attack.
I think it was worth it. The odds on the jettison were a bit low, a bit too low actually, since they actually tossed the first one.
They were very low. All right. Well, our monkey idol's our idol is mounting in strength. Oh God.
Who's on top of the bounty board today?
Ooh, idol's getting cleaned up here. So there's not much
Our
to
engine...
we have to play like the other idol with the Redeemer or something like that, really.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's kind of nothing else. It's okay. We've got the other one. I was gonna say, is he passing?
Doesn't seem like we're passing the deep test.
Yeah, it does not look like it. So I guess I'm doing Monkey Idol into Vanguard Redeemer.
Correct. Into Cithria next turn.
Oh, yikes.
Remember the fallen.
Yeah,
Okay.
that Cithria is not feeling very good.
Slaughter
We
dogs.
can technically MF right now.
Yeah.
Because we got the trigger from Dawnspeakers. So we can
Mhm.
MF and like, worst case, we just don't Monkey Idol at all.
I mean, yeah, honestly, we kind of look like we've already lost this game.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good.
And yeah, I do think, like, so the thing about a Dawnspeakers deck that's really important to consider when building it is, like, the whole point of Dawnspeakers is it sort of snowballs your early potential into the late game. Think of it like not really like a 3-drop, but more as sort of, if anything, like a replacement to this top end like Cithria. Like, the power of Dawnspeakers is it allows us to cut out the more expensive cards and still have a way to kind of like launch us into the late game, right?
Correct.
So, yikes. What's the plan? We can do a suicide attack.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just send it in.
We might not be surviving the next attack though.
Oh, we're certainly not. Not a chance.
Love ya.
All right. Well, it was a good try.
Indeed. Ooh.
So we didn't pass the deep test. We can go ahead and I think this is an easy surrender here.
Correct.
Did not
I
pass the deep
Plan on
test,
revenge.
but
identified some issues.
we've got a lot of changes that we can begin making already. So, Cougar,
Yes.
I'll let you take the lead on this since you're the guest here. What do you want to
Sure.
do?
Okay, we can start by cutting the Siren and Citrus. I would like to cut one Radiant Guardian.
Really? I figured you'd cut more Radiant Guardians. Can we cut them all?
It does really depend. Yeah, we can cut them all.
Radiant Guardian is worse in this deck than it is in a Scout's deck.
Correct. I would also like to cut one single combat.
I was thinking about cutting all the single combats.
Me too, but I think with this style of deck, it's not that bad. Since we're more controlling the board, like more than scouts, and we're not actually just like trying to end the game really fast. Yeah, these would be my like first changes for sure. We have 9 spots right now. Nine open
Yes.
slots.
I think we definitely want to be making some more aggressive moves here. Because, I mean, I think cards like Vanguard Redeemer don't really fit with the strategy as well either. Biggest problem with Vanguard Redeemer is actually really simple. It's just too many 3-drops, right? Too many 3-cost units at that point. And it just, like, doesn't leave you with enough flexibility, right? And, of course, we kind of have to be running the third Dawnspeakers. That, I think, just
Naturally.
has to be a given.
Yes.
Okay?
The rest of
So-
the deck looks good.
What do you want to start adding in at this point?
I would like to add more, either more 1-drops or, well, I want hired gun for sure. That
Yeah.
we can start by adding 3 hired guns.
Absolutely. Hard Gun, it's a great card in general. It just has a little bit of added synergy with this deck because it's survivable. I think that one thing about this deck, like the one thing about playing Dawnspeakers, at least in my mind, is that it's really, really important that your deck is able to go wide, right? Like, we want a ton of cheap units. That's why we can't possibly fit in cards like Radiant Guardian, and even, in my opinion, single combat, because if we don't have, like, a board with, like, 4 or 5 units, Dawnspeakers isn't really going to be doing enough as a card.
I like it. I like getting more single combats just because of 2 reasons. The first, we have hired gun, and in fact, technically speaking,
Yep.
hired gun is like a single combat because we can send our units and
exactly.
like trade down. We also have shakedown, so we like just in case we cannot kill our units, we can use shakedown to trigger something or to trade.
So, what else are we thinking? Now, we've freed up 10 whole slots in this deck.
I'm looking at that Stony Surpriser and it's looking back at me.
No.
Okay.
This is, by the way, this is mostly how our tournament preparation goes. One of us says, like, ooh, yeah, what if we do this? And the other one says, No.
That's how it works.
And honestly, that's kind of like the best way to prep for tournaments. Like, you just need someone to tell you no. That's the most important thing. Any other directions here?
We're staying on Lucian. We could consider adding Senna.
We should talk about at this point like what generally we need instead of like, you know, focusing too much on specific cards. You know, let's think out loud. Like, what does the deck need? You know, part of the reason Hard Gun was so good was because we needed more 2-drops. I mean, I certainly think we need more 1s. Like I said, with Dawnspeakers, you really just want to go more early curve, more aggressive, survivable units. I think just like putting in 3 Butchers is pretty auto. In fact, I mean, we already have Cithriev Cloudfield in, and this is literally just the worst Jagged Butcher, technically.
I would actually like Kadra instead of Cithria. Just because Kadra has the ability to heal.
Yeah. Wait, when are you healing?
Cithria, the big one. Or after an attack with Cithria, the Kadra heals back. So like, there's no downside to playing Kadra instead of Cithria, except Flock, but no one plays WNTF.
Except Flock. That's the one downside.
Yeah, but who would Flock?
Honestly, I think that's enough of a downside. I think that matters more than like the ability to re-heal after the Cithria attack is so incredibly niche. Like.
But when you think about it, flocking a 1-drop is not a problem for us.
I think it can easily be. Like, the way this deck plays out, we want to keep our units alive, and we can often be bricking stuff like their flock instead of just letting them use it on turn 1, right? Like, unless we actually run active healing in this deck, Krusty Kadra is just going to be less value than Cithria. Right?
Okay. It also dodges
it's very rarely going to matter.
When we start buffing the Kadra and they hush it, technically Kadra will be a 2-3 or a 2-4, depending on how big.
Dawnspeakers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Yeah, we'll leave it with Cithria for now, but honestly, it's very close between the two, between Krusty Kadra and Cithria. Either way, at the end of the day, we just want to make sure we have more 1-drops. Now we've got 9 1-drops in the list. We could even go a little higher. This deck could easily go up to like maybe 12 or so as an absolute maximum. I'm happy with 9 for now. This is kind of the point where we're gonna have to talk about like Lucian Senna versus Quinn. You said like Lucian Senna you like better just because of Shakedown.
Not necessarily. I think I like Quinn better, actually, because MF is obviously.
Why are we adding in Senna?
Because we want to test the Lucian Senna combo, and then.
Yeah, so I think, you know, notably, the ability for Shakedown to immediately level either Lucian or Senna is actually potentially really scary, especially when you can like drag away chump blockers and just let the double attack hit for free. Is a really cool interaction. I'm pretty happy to like rock Lucian Senna for now, but definitely
level up is very scary.
We will have to think about Quinn as well, you know, depending on how far we take this. Okay, 4 slots left. What about Island Navigator? That's pretty good with strategies like this, right?
We could consider it compared to like Grizzled Ranger, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
we could compare it to Grizzled.
We were running Island Navigator in certain versions of Scouts, and I mean, obviously in this deck where we want to be going wide with Dawnspeakers, it's gonna be more effective, right?
Yes, I like Navigator instead of Ranger then.
Try 2 and 1.
2-1.
That gets us.
I like it.
Okay.
The question here is, so what are we actually lacking? Different things.
Yep.
Do we have an actual finisher? So we have a board, we have a big board, big units. How are we finishing the game?
Yep. Cithria is pretty much our answer there, but
correct. If that's the answer, then we need 3 of Cithria, and having 2 Cithrias is never a bad thing.
I think it can. I mean, there's a lot of early hands where you'll lose because you have 2 Cithrias.
But that's the only like expensive card we have. We should have in the deck. Here, I think we're lacking. So we have a board, and we need spells to protect the board against.
Usually, this is where we have Rangers Resolve.
Yes, correct. Either Rangers or Repost or Sharp Sight are all very solid considerations. I do personally prefer reposts.
Interesting.
I think it hits just basically because of Trundle.
I see. That's pretty big. So something like 2 reposts, 1 sharp sight.
I like it.
So we can try this out. This is kind of just like a step 2 in the process. See where this goes. Basically, we've just, tried to kind of like have a bit more of what the deck functionally wants. Like step 1 is just identifying what a Dawnspeaker's deck really wants to be, right? So obviously we need to be in 3 Dawnspeakers, and we can't run, superfluous 3 drops. The original version of the deck was running both Radiant Guardian as well as Vanguard Redeemer, and both of these kind of sort of look like synergy with the Dawnspeaker strategies, but sort of end up being complete bait. Like, so they both have effects that trigger when an ally has died. So they have triggerable effects, but the whole point of Dawnspeakers is you want to be flooding the board early and cheap, and neither Redeemer nor Radiant Guardian allows you to do that at all, right? And these effects, you don't normally... It's not like Vanguard Redeemer isn't seeing play because it has like a hard to trigger effect. And, Radiant Guardian obviously wants to be in a much more slow deck, right?
Correct.
And then we just go ahead and, smooth out with some support cards. Nothing super refined, but it's a good second step part of the process here. Okay, game 2.
Fistia Freljord. So this is probably the elusive deck.
Yep. Usually this
Starlight Seer.
Starlight Seer. Ooh, interesting. So we've got Lucian, Monkey Idol, Shakedown, Repost.
So I don't think we can actually keep Monkey Idol if we don't have Dawnspeakers
Interesting.
In our hand.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. So you want to kick everything except for Lucian,
Yes.
or including Lucian? I think I full kick
Against their deck.
Looking for a Senna to hit Lucian. I think in a Lucian Senna deck, if you're doing like a full kick on the mulligan, you have decent odds of hitting Senna, so keeping Lucian is worth it in the hand. It also should be noted that the second Lucian is a Relentless Pursuit, which is pretty cute. We don't run Relentless Pursuit in our main deck. What do you think about potentially running Pursuit in our main deck here?
I thought about it. I really did. I don't think it fits. We will have the same problem as like having single combat in our hand.
Yep.
We won't be able to use it until we have a big board, and when we do have a big board, I'd rather just have a Cithria or something to actually finish the game on the spot.
Oh, please attack me. Dude.
Yeah, the problem with their deck is that they run Troll Chant and Elixir. We have 2 options here. Either we play, 3. Repost, Senna, or MF.
Yep.
Repost meaning that we open attack and then we
I think
answer.
getting the Misfortune charge is just probably too important at this stage.
Yes, especially because we have the 4-drop.
I'm one of the good guys. But
There's a consideration to play Senna here, just
Senna.
because, you kind of want to get both Lucian and Senna on the board, but it's just not quite worth it, I think, this early. Okay, so they pass with 3 mana, which is a little spooky. Usually this means Troll Chance, Elixir of Iron, that kind of stuff.
Brittle Steel.
There's a lot of things that could be, right?
Yes.
I think I'm pretty good to just do a double attack, force something out, and then sometimes Chain Vest Lucian to protect him.
Yes.
Because basically all of those tricks are kind of just defensive. He can only threaten the Lucian just because the Lucian is dependent on quick attack. And then we can just keep it alive with a Chain Vest. Looks pretty solid.
love ya.
Chain Vest and Ranger's Resolve are often going to be pretty similar in this deck. I actually don't mind Chain Vest as a replacement to Ranger's Resolve. Resolve does have the ability to nut out sometimes, but it often is usually just protecting 1 unit anyway.
Yes. Chain Vest is very good in this deck, I think.
Yep, it's pretty underrated.
For sure.
Okay, we've got the second Senna. So it begins. And yeah, this is how their deck works. They just basically buff elusives really big and then just try to barrel you down with them. In this case, I guess I'm playing the Senna just to make sure I have the threat on board before, something weird might happen to the Lucian.
We could also consider the fact that we have 3 attacks next turn. So we could play the Navigator, attack with Scouts, and then attack again, and then Rally, attack again. But that's considering that they don't have anything in hand. So I think Senna is a safer play in general.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, that being said, though, there are... I'm not sure how able they would be in that deck to stop the process with, MF potentially leveling up. Right?
It would be Brittle Steel. I mean, we can always play Island
I
Navigator
think
here.
I'll
and
actually go
then-
for it. Just because, like, the Senna Lucian level up on this board state isn't really worth that much. It's just gonna get chumped out by the Omen Hawk anyway. But yeah, Navigator feels pretty good here. Kind of unfortunate that we don't have, like, a Dawnspeakers or Monkey Idol hand, because, of course, you know, that's a large part of the point of the deck. But it's fine. The deck is definitely not dependent on those.
And that's a very good point. You need the deck to function without your main engine.
Yep, exactly.
So here we always scout first.
Yep, I think just open attack with both scouts.
Yes, dragon the 4/5 with the 1/1.
There's a consideration to not even attack with the 2/4 as well.
The 2/4.
It's
It's
probably
not gonna
not worth
get.
it, yeah. If we force out a
Blocked by
trick or something, that's fine anyway.
Yes, could be a Fury.
Definitely could. I think this deck probably shouldn't run Fury, but honestly, you never know sometimes.
Yes.
Well, I'm inclined to
Well-
just Lucian drag the Narwhal. He'll respond to it, but I guess we kind of need the Relentless Pursuit, actually. We can't have this turn back into a Lucian. This
We
is
could
interesting.
drag the 4/3 with the Navigator, and then force out a check, rally again, and attack with MF and Lucian. Problem with that would be like just risking one of the two.
We're
Like, with the combat
sacrificing
check.
we're sacrificing so much value though if we send this into the Narwhal as well.
We could play the Senna and send it into the Narwhal.
That's
We
what
kill
I'm
the Senna with
thinking.
level the Lucian.
I think we probably have to play Senna here. This like big beefy Narwhal is actually just makes this line of play of trying to level the MF this turn just a little too awkward.
Yeah.
Whereas going in like this is just a little bit safer. But yeah, the Narwhal's huge like turn 4 stat line just ruins everything.
I think we have to play safe and follow the same line. Just send Senna.
Just solo Senna.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking about?
Well, now that we have Lucian and Senna, we can do something like this, for example.
I don't think they do care about like just killing the Lucian and blocking the Senna with the birds. I think leveling Lucian here is crucial. Like they have to. The Senna is gonna die this turn if we send her into the Narwhal. We have a leveled Lucian, and then they're forced to not kill anything. Yeah.
This is actually pretty resilient. There's a couple like double spells that work here.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
The thing is, Cholchant isn't good enough because we have Misfortune's Love Tap, which is really important. So it has to be a double spell. I don't know. I'm pretty okay with this. I know you like want to keep the Lucian flipped at all costs, but I don't mind if we force that exchange and the Senna levels up here anyway. We have another Lucian that we can just play out here. Which I think we just do.
Yeah.
How'd you beat me here?
A lady has hers.
And then we've got a very, very, very scary attack on turn
Very
7.
Ooh.
Parlay. Interesting. Wait, what?
This would be a good winter.
Wait, what?
Citrus? What?
It doesn't even make sense with citrus. I'm actually just confused.
It was just a burst path.
Yeah, it has to be shared spoils.
Spoils,
Is the only thing
yeah.
that could be. This could be a really big elusive. Ooh, that's a 6/6 zap. Wait, that's kind of scary.
No, I think we're fine.
So I guess we just play our other Senna here.
Yes.
They're as good as dead.
You're adorable when you're angry.
Okay. Are we just... I mean, Dawnspeakers is kind of doing nothing here. We could leave both reposts up instead.
Yes.
This is a very, very interesting situation. So we have one effectively leveled Senna. Our MF is leveling right now. We're forced to
We
just
always
scout
have.
attacking no matter what. Yeah. And then we're basically just hoping the MF will carry us here. MF's such a neat card, huh?
I think MF is a very balanced champion. Like, I would no joke though. I would actually like every other champion to move up to her speed, or like, ooh,
Do I just go in with the other one too?
no flash freeze.
Yeah, it's only one at a time. I agree, Kuvira. I also think MF is a very balanced champion. Good one, dude.
I want every champion to be on the same power level as MF.
I
feel like
think more champions should be stronger.
yes.
Missed your chance to run.
So yeah, I mean we can just kind of like swing it in like this. This looks pretty pretty difficult to answer from my perspective. All right, great. So the deck definitely quite a bit better at this point, you know, and we saw a lot of the changes we made obviously carry this this game. Like when we look at, for example, adding in Senna is a really big deal. Running Lucian without Senna, you just kind of like can't do. It's just like almost just not worth it at all. The Island Navigator went pretty big there. The reposts actually even helped push a little bit of lethal. And we also saw, like, you know, not having like clogged up like late game. You know, we didn't even draw the Radiant Guardian in game 1, but you know, before when we were looking at the deck, we had 3 Radiant, 3 Cytheria, 2 Citrus Courier, and 2 Sirens. Super cloggy late game. This looks a lot cleaner and a lot better. I think the thing about Dawnspeaker is that is important to identify. I actually kind of disagree a little bit with what you said before, that Dawnspeakers, you know, you were saying like single combat's fine, you can play kind of slow. Dawnspeakers, I think, is a card that wants you to play fast. It wants you to like own the board with like a very wide amount of cheap units, and then like it's single-handedly allows your avenue into the late game, not running out of steam just by, you know, giving you 1 or 2 buffs throughout the game. But it's a card that incentivizes the rest of your deck to be built very fast around it. Like, you don't want to slow down when you're running Dawnspeakers, really.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we've got one last game with this deck, and we can make a couple of changes here. Obviously, you know, it's feeling a lot better. What on your mind is, like, you know, a good approach to like what we should even change at this point?
I just have some like small detail changes. Like I would like 3 navigators and 0 ranger.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
I think
because-
Navigator's just better here.
Yes, just because of Cytheria, basically. Having 2 units with Cytheria just makes a huge difference.
Dawnspeakers too. I mean, you just
And
want
yeah,
to
of course.
have like a wide board.
Yes.
Yep.
Correct. I like the reposts. They were pretty good during the... I mean, they weren't very useful that game, but in a game where we're fighting for the board, I think blocking a Trundle or a 5/5 or anything for that matter is pretty important. Repost is pretty good. The ratios between repost and sharp sight are debatable. Maybe 2 sharp sight is better, just because we have the ability to protect down speakers for 2 mana with sharp sight. We didn't have the chance to like use Shakedown with Lucian and Senna. I think
Shakedown, I'm still not quite sure about. It's a very interesting concept in this kind of list, but it's really hard to see how this is going to go without playing it. What do you think about the Chain Vest? I could see like -1 Chain Vest, +1 Sharp Sight. Although Chain Vest is pretty good in this list.
I kind of have to agree with -1 Chain Vest, +1 Sharp Sight. The +2 attack matters a lot, especially now that we have 2 quick attack units. So the attack matters.
Yep. At the end of the day, a lot of like the art of ratioing the cards in your deck just comes down to, you know, how good you feel when you single draw something, how good you feel when you double draw something, and how bad you feel when you don't draw any of it, right? And you just, you know, run those 3 metrics along a matrix. You'll find with Chain Vest, it's not super essential to the deck. We don't need to draw it every game. The biggest thing with Chain Vest is that double drawing it rarely feels good, right? And that's a bit of an issue, because even a 2 of, you know, when you run the math, Kuvir and I were just talking about this literally like a day or 2 ago. But when you run the math on, you know, having a 2 of, double drawing that 2 of at like a relevant point of the game, it's something along the lines of 10%. It's pretty close to that. So, you know, just 2 Chain Vests. 1 out of every 10 games, we're going to draw both of them. And that's can actually be pretty nasty, right? I think, like, I'm very happy to run 1 Chain Vest here and, you know, see how that goes. But I think it will be a little bit too clunky, since it's really only good on like the Monkey Idol. I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand like the Monkey Idol Dawnspeakers. I don't think they're really contingent on Chain Vest. I understand like a lot of people look at it as like, oh, if you Chain Vest the Monkey Idol, then it goes forever. But the whole point of these kinds of decks is you don't want it to go forever. Dawnspeakers gives diminishing returns every time it procs. Like you don't want this effect to keep going and going and going forever. You don't need that level of sustainability, right? Especially when you have a full board anyway. You're fine with the Monkey Idol dying after 3 turns.
Exactly. We actually want the Monkey Idol to die after 3 turns.
Yep.
That's pretty important. And when you think about it, I would rather have like a unit instead of the Chain Vest, and put down the unit with the Dawnspeakers and Monkey Idol to buff that unit instead of just making the Monkey Idol survive.
Exactly.
We won't have a board. We need a board. We don't necessarily need to protect the Monkey Idol.
Yep, I completely agree. Do you want a 10th 1-drop instead then?
Yes.
Okay. I'm very down with that. So I think like one just super important thing with ratioing just comes down to like how many cards you have on curve, right? It's very important to understand, you know, a lot of people look at this and or the question is like, why are you running one Codger? At the end of the day, it's like we already discussed. Codger and Cythria of Cloudfield are almost the same card. They are almost exactly the same card. It's not about, you know, having one Codger. It's about having 10 1-drops. Because when you look at the idea of ratioing, when you look at the math of drawing cards on curve, there's so much that is, you know, very important to be mathematically optimal on. And when you really think about it, the idea of limiting your curve plays to multiples of 3, like you have to have 3 of 1-drops, or you have to have 6 of, or 9 of, or 12 of, it just doesn't really make much sense, right? This is kind of like the easiest example of that, because this card is literally the same thing as this card. But in any case, whenever you're dealing with, like, you know, curve plays, or cards that are just really subsets of other broader categories, you really don't need, there's no reason for you to feel like you're locked into a multiple of 3. You're just hurting your own math by doing so.
I would actually, I have a card that I can suggest. Valor.
Yeah,
a lot.
Me too. I was actually thinking about Valor. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Blinding Assault.
Yep.
I think it works in this deck in so many different ways, in the way we built it.
Yeah.
So it works with MF on its own. As if you curve out Blinding Assault into MF, you get 2 triggers off the MF right away, and then if you have a Navigator right after, you just basically level the MF on turn 4, which is niche, but if it works, you just win the game on the spot. Yep. And it works very well with Lucian and Senna, because you can drag away something, or like sacrifice the bird, and then Lucian levels, like threatening a level up on the Lucian, or that. It also works with our spells, so basically a repost. So you could like Blinding Assault into repost, and then kill a 5 health unit, and then scout again and kill another 5 health unit, which is pretty big. It also obviously works with the Dawnspeakers, yeah. And when you buff the bird with the Dawnspeakers, it becomes a big threat, because when you have a 4/4 bird or a 4/3 bird or whatever, 4/3, yeah, sorry.
It's pretty cute.
You can trade.
What do you want to get out for it?
Well, 1 Monkey Idol and 1 1-drop, and add into.
Monkey Idol.
You don't like that idea?
No, I like that idea.
And then 1 1-drop, and add in 2 Blinding Assaults.
All right. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I was thinking about cutting down on 1 Cythria as well. Monkey Idol is a card that's going to feel like really bad to double draw. It's definitely less integral to your like overall game plan than Dawnspeakers. We saw kind of like the opposite approach in the initial version of the deck. We saw 2 Dawnspeakers, 3 Monkey Idol. And I do think that was pretty backwards. At the end of the day, you only need to draw 1 Monkey Idol for your Dawnspeakers. Your Dawnspeakers will be triggering even if you haven't drawn the Monkey Idol. And drawing 2 Monkey Idol is always going to feel bad even if you don't have Dawnspeakers. Whereas drawing 2 Dawnspeakers can actually be totally fine in a lot of situations.
Exactly.
I do think that I think I might actually rather cut the Cythria over the Monkey Idol though, just because I think this deck already has a lot of finishers just with the ability to just represent a board that's kind of impossible to deal with via Dawnspeaker, or obviously the leveled up MF, the leveled up Lucian. But also, you know, I don't like double drawing Cytherea, and I think, like, you know, staying core to the identity of the deck and just kind of like increasing the odds of Monkey Idol Dawnspeakers. I'd rather have like the 3 and 3 in this one, I think.
Okay.
But I very much agree with 2 Blinding Assaults. Looks good.
Looks sweet.
Okay, and as mentioned, the third and final game we play with this deck is going to be a ranked version.
Of course.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty close to Scouts. A lot of people are pointing out, well, we just turned this into a Scouts deck. The deck was kind of, I mean, that's kind of what Dawnspeakers is. Like, Dawnspeakers does want to be played with, like, a very, very tempo-y version of the deck. This still is going to be fairly different from Scouts. It's like, what, like 12, 15 cards off? But
yeah,
its core is still, yeah, I mean, it is pretty Scouty as an archetype.
It is. The win cons are basically almost the same. Lucian and then MF.
Yep. Okay. Ooh, trouble. Thrash. Thrash. What's this?
So
going
it's
around?
basically ARAM.
People run Thrash in the ARAM version.
Could be a very weird field rush deck.
So I mean, we have to do a full mulligan here.
Correct.
Bit of a yikes.
We need 1-drops. We need to go.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Not so bad.
Not bad.
Not so bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
So do you want to open attack with Cytherea, or
My own story.
kind of have to develop before attacking here, really?
Yeah.
Lucian?
We have a great curve. Lucian, yeah. The only problem here is Vile Feast.
Yeah, for this turn.
We do
Getting-
have to attack.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Not with both, though. Just with Lucian, if that's possible.
It's
We
pretty
don't attack
close,
with
right?
It's not. We have MF.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, ooh, that's a sick draw. I mean, it's
So
kind of
MF's the
hard to
problem-
avalanche here.
Avalanche is pretty bad for us. We could.
I mean, we
So
are
if we
just
play
gonna play
MF
MF here.
Yeah.
We can't not.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to.
Looking for trouble. It
Problem
won't
with
be.
playing MF is that we will have to play the 1-drop next turn just to keep. Yeah. We have to play the 1-drop
That's cute.
to keep MF. Healthy.
Within, yeah, sharp sight.
Yeah, from the Vile Feast. So yeah, it's always the 1-drop. And if it's a second avalanche, we just hit for 6 face.
Yeah, that makes sense. What else do you expect to see on turn 4 against this deck? It's not really much. Just like weird.
It's only
things.
the ping and avalanche, the second one. So you want to play Navigator?
I can't. I mean, I want to, but there's
You
just
can't.
no way it's proper. It's
Yeah,
so
you
sad.
I'll burn for what I've done.
Like the one damage ping is just too likely here, and this is why we include sharp sight. Just helps make plays like that feel quite awkward.
Yeah. Then I think here this is a hired gun.
Yeah, now we can
And then
hide
we
again.
just we send the 2-2 and then we hit for 6.
Yep, and yeah, this feels a lot better. Like, this is why Hired Gun is in the deck. This is why we kind of like sequence like that, make him make the first play, and then when he taps under the ability to Vile Feast or Unspeakable Horror us, then we can tap under our ability to protect, because we don't need that anymore.
Correct. Now we have the 4 mana and the 2
Yep.
mana spell to protect the mana.
Exactly. Absolutely perfect.
This is
Save
basically
from-
a
yeah,
telegraphed
save
Vile Feast or Avalanche. That's it. Probably a
we
Vile
got
Feast.
we got Butcher here. That's actually a little sick.
Huge. Urination mana, but we do always have to basically just scouts. Pretty easy. Scout
Yeah,
attack.
there's no way around the scout attack here. It's just
Yeah.
like, it's a little too efficient. And we have like, right now, we have a great, powerful double trick here. Like, the fact that we have both Sharp Sight and Repost is a big deal. Because it just means, like, we can basically win the action economy by, if we wanted to, dumping it all. Wow, really, Ruination. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, we can't really, we can't mind that much. We almost have
No.
lethal here.
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
pretty good ruination.
Yeah, it looks like we have no choice but to get it in for, what, the 6?
Sentinels of light
Yeah.
don't fear the dark. Success gets you noticed around here. Missed your chance to run.
Yep. So we're pretty low on steam here. It's like, if he's
We
got...
do have the trick, so it's pretty good.
There's
Ooh.
Dawnspeakers. It's definitely not the best situation for Dawnspeakers.
We always. So
Yeah,
here,
I'm just gonna Dawnspeakers here.
yeah, always.
I have enough mana for both of the others. It's actually kind of interesting. I mean, he kind of has no good attack here.
An attack on the Sentinels is ooh, that's very
scary.
bad for us.
Yeah, that's
We're just slots.
that's pretty
because
awful.
of that.
Yeah, Hapless is a good card.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy how much better like SI Failure it is now that it can run Hapless, and it doesn't have to run War Mothers anymore. Is Bones still think War Mother's better than Feel the Rush? Has he has he not got enough that train yet? Everyone else has departed that train.
He was ready to bat and everything.
Yeah, he wanted to put money down. Oh, okay. This is pretty rough.
We always have to assault a bird here.
Yeah.
Like we can't just. We have to play as if they don't have a hand at all. Speed. Like there's no way. There's no way to play around this.
Yeah.
You have to think that their hand is empty and then start playing.
This is pretty awkward. We got pretty close at the start of it.
The Hapless was how we lost.
Yeah. If their hand just didn't have that extra blocker, this would have been a lot easier.
We can.
We can what?
So we always drag the. We drag the Hapless with the bird and we full send, and then we wait for the tricks, and we can use our tricks to present lethal.
What if we full buff the bird and double attack hit?
That doesn't sound
first?
good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's terrible. Like.
I thought about it first,
Oh,
but then, like vengeance, slash freeze, anything.
Everything.
I don't want to play our the spells proactively here. I think it's a mistake. And worst case here, if we know that we can't present lethal, we just trade the trash with the repos. So here we just sharp sight on the Dawnspeakers.
Why Dawn over a hired gun? Flash freeze?
Just vengeance or flash freeze.
Yeah.
So and if we bait grasp on the hired gun, we just
We have a chance.
yeah, we can't play around ping
If
plus
there's
grasp.
if they have a bad hand, this is almost winnable.
No, look.
Well, hang on, not yet.
Yeah, I know. Like still, like I can name 12 cards. Could stop us here.
We good? We in?
No, we're not.
Oh,
we're out.
No. Oh,
Oh,
not the
fuck.
Vile Feast. Ah,
They're very close though. The
it's
fact,
really as close as these get.
Sentinel.
yeah.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah, we're out.
Is there a reason to play this out? Do we? Is
MF?
there a
MF and then no answer to the
MF
MF.
into what?
MF into just attack. Listen, that's technically that's our only out. Oh, that's a nice offering.
Oh,
We just keep passing.
yeah, this is great. I can't see a way we lose this game. He's at 1.
Oh, it is ARAM. Okay.
Okay, MF here.
Oh.
Wait! We forgot about Monkey Idol.
Bait with the one drop.
We need him to play fucking. If he plays
Vlad or some
Vlad.
expensive champ.
Oh, I still got 7 mana.
Oh yeah, that's the problem here is crumble.
Do I
You
like?
do.
Can I
You do
afford
bait.
to just keep passing until he goes under 7? Will we ever bait him under 7?
I think technically speaking, it only get worse because of the chances to draw
I think
second
that's
vengeance or
true.
crumble.
I agree.
We could also like wait, and then if the only card
what
they
if I
have in their
just-
hand,
What if I attack here?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I
We just accelerate the clock. Our
The
clock.
clock is already the same. It just gives him a chance to mess up. He'll never think Monkey Idol's in our deck. He'll play his card.
Why would you not block this Trundle here? Like
He will, but then he'll use an action and tap under.
He won't use an action. There's no action at 7. They can play proactively.
He's not gonna play 7. He's gonna like he's gonna BM the champion he got off of Howling Abyss or something. He's gonna show us what he got, and then he's gonna tap under Vengeance, and we're gonna win. Ah,
Doesn't.
fuck.
What we could have done was wait and then let them play the champions and stuff, and then bait a Ruination if that's the only answer they have in their hand. Oh well.
Yeah, but I mean, our odds only get worse if we wait. You said it yourself.
I agree.
We actually were so close there. With that second Vengeance, the over the top is actually very valuable there. I do think that's a pretty relevant thing that is added to this list by Monkey Idol. Like a small amount of over the top when you lose control of the board actually can matter.
Yeah, the burn, pretty important.
Oh well. As expected, it turns out SI Freljord control on ranked ladder right now in Masters, pretty good deck. I haven't done like a meta. I haven't done a meta update in a while. But for those of you guys who don't know, there's a lot of SI Freljord right now. Anyway, pretty successful overall. We won the second game pretty easily, and even the third game that we played on, you know, Master Ranked Ladder, we were very close to winning. This is pretty close to, you know, a viable competitive deck. What would you rate this? Is like something along these lines would be probably like low tier 2. I mean, at the end of the day, really not that bad. It's pretty much a different version of Scouts.
Basically. Low tier 2, very high
tier 3, yeah. It's a suitable deck. If, you know, any of you guys want to mess around with something like Dawnspeakers or Monkey Idol, you know, this is definitely the best way to do it right now. Yeah, I guess that's about all I got. Did you have any final notes with, you know, the deck build or anything about it? Looks pretty good to me. I like where we ended up.
Yeah, it does. I think we managed to make it.
We still didn't
viable.
really get to test out Shakedown, which is the one,
did not.
You know.
I do have faith.
I have faith. In my head, Shakedown actually is pretty adorable here. It can do a lot of really, really cute things.
It can, but I still think it has to go. It might have to go down to
probably. It probably does.
1.
It probably can't run 2.
Yeah, just 1, I think. But hey,
all right. That was a fun little deck build though. All right, so guys, if you guys want me to try your deck next week, I say next week, but it's been like 3 weeks since I've done one of these, so you never know. Who knows? But anyway, put it in the YouTube comments. If you link a deck code, make sure to describe your deck if you're putting it in a comment for me to use in the next Deck Doctor video, whenever that might be. Make sure to give it like a one-liner, describe how it works, because it's very important with Deck Doctor knowing like what the essence of the deck, how it's built, you know, what are the uncuttables, right? Because otherwise it can be very ambiguous, like the direction to take it in. Anyway, that's going to be it for us this week, and I'll see you guys next week, maybe.